Yo, it's your boy Matrix back with another crazy episode of customer service. Where the customer is not always right. Special guest today is my little cousin. She does hair, just makeup, but if you guys need any services, it's prime time coming up and make sure she give y'all connecting info at the end of this interview so y'all can get with her. Yeah, I mean make sure you tip too. It's my little cousin, okay? She got school and stuff to pay for. I'm allowed to introduce herself, take it from here. You got it, cuz.
Hey, my name is Quanisha,
Mhm.
and I'm telling the story of the time I had a crazy client who booked me on a website called StyleSeed, and she also got my website, took it down, so I had to create a whole new account.
Gotcha. So she ratted on you and got your
Yes,
account taken down.
she gave me bad reviews, and she also sent me a message on Cash App requesting a refund, or she's going to file a civil lawsuit.
Okay. Okay, this is already getting good. This is starting off hot and heavy, baby. Let's jump into this story.
So she booked me for a sewing service on StyleSeed, and she said that she will provide her own hair. She said that it's hair that she used before and that it was well maintenance and she took care of it.
Now hold on. She used before. Is that something that's common? People using hair that they used before?
They do use it, and they also get it maintenance. So they get it washed and blow dried and
Oh, wait. Now I'm a bald man, so I don't know anything about this. You ladies are buying hair and taking it to the cleaners and reusing it like it's a sweatsuit?
they using it, wearing it, styling it, and then taking it out and paying to get it reinstalled.
Nasty.
Glued tracks and sewn tracks.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Go
Yep.
with the story. Whew.
So she asked for a sew-in. She said she wanted it straight. She bought me 3 different texture track hair. It was about 5 different lengths. So like 8 inches, 12 inches, 14 inches, 18, 24. Yeah, she told me make it work. So
Wow. She got this from a thrift store.
yeah, it also was different hair brands. So when you have different hair brand and different hair textures, some of it was human, some of it was synthetic.
She had cat hair, dog hair, bareback hair.
Yep. So when we got to the shampoo bowl, I asked her if she have any chemicals in her hair, if she's allergic to any products, is there anything I need to know before we get the service started. She said, no, everything is fine.
Okay.
When I got to shampoo in her hair was straight, bone straight. No one's hair texture is bone straight. So as I'm shampooing her hair, the hair normally curls up or crinkle just a little bit. It did not do that until I got to the second wash. Once I got to the second wash, I started to see it curl up from the root, and she was trying to tell me that her natural hair texture is straight.
Oh, okay, she got Indian in her family.
I guess so.
Okay.
But that changed once we got the shampoo in and I started rinsing that shampoo out. It curled right back up. So I was like, oh wow. She not only did she get a chemical service done, but she also told me she washed it before she came, and her hair was not clean at all.
Son of a...
So once we got done that, and I got the blow drying it, she was like, I don't want it too tight because my hair is thinning. So I said, well, I don't think you should get a sew-in if your hair is thinning because that's too much tension. It's going to pull your hair out.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
I recommend to put a cap on her and to glue the tracks down onto the cap, or I can get a sewing net, sew it onto the sewing net.
Okay.
She said she wants it the way she asked, and so I guess the customer is always right. So we did it that way. She wanted a traditional sew-in.
Okay, traditional. Okay.
So as I'm applying the thread with the track onto her hair, before I can pull it, she said, that's too tight. So I'm like, it's too tight? I didn't pull it yet. She was like, yeah, that's way too tight. So I said, okay. I said, well, if I do it too loose, it's going to look like an old style, not a fresh new style. But I could do it to where it's less tension, but if you make it too loose, it's not going to come out how you want it to. So she said, okay. So as I'm sewing it in, she's like, that's still too tight. So I said, well, let me know when you want me to loosen it or tighten it. She said, okay. So once she got done saying that, I said, okay, it's going to be one of those days, one of those times, but we're going to get it done. She said, yeah, I really had to book you because I seen your work and you do really good hair. She said, so I want to try you out. She said, I don't really normally book hairstyles online, but I have an interview tomorrow and I want to look good for it. So I said, okay.
Too late for that, baby.
When we got to the top of her hair, she's getting a sew-in with a leave out, meaning she's leaving some of her natural hair out at the top, and the rest is going to be braided up with the tracks on there.
Okay.
She told me last minute, I don't want my hair out.
You mother.
And it's already sewn in. So I said, well, it's already sewn in, so I have to leave it out because this is what you requested. She said, yeah, but I don't think my hair is long enough to blend with it. I said, it is long enough to blend with it. I said, I can actually get it to blend in with your tracks. She's like, you sure? I said, yeah. She said, well, I don't want heat on my hair.
What the f is that?
I said, well, you said you wanted a sew-in with a leave out and you wanted it straight. She said, right. I said, so in order for me to get your hair straight, I have to apply heat. She said, but I don't want heat damage. So I said, well,
I don't want heat damage.
we could have put on a closure and braided all your natural hair up and none of your hair would have been out, but this is not what you asked for. She was like, right, so is it a way that you can do it over? I said, no, I would have to cut every single track. I would have to cut the thread and unsew it, re-braid everything, and do it all over again. And she was like, oh no, I don't have time for that. We're not doing that. So I said, okay.
Lucky you even in the damn chair at this point.
So she was like, okay, well, if you straighten it, just use a little bit of heat. I said, okay, that's fine. As soon as I started straightening, she said, no, you know what? I don't like it. I changed my mind. I said, so what do you want done now? She said, I want a real tight curly hairstyle. I said, what kind of curly hairstyle? She said, like a Jerry curl look. I said, a Jerry curl look? And she showed me a picture and it's like Soul Glow. Like,
just let your
like,
soul glow.
like extremely
Just
tight
let
curls.
it shine through.
So I said, the only way that you can get this look is if we have rods. So we have to apply mousse to your hair, wet it, and rod it up and sit you under the dryer. She said, oh no, that's too much. That takes too much time. So I said, okay. She said, I normally just wet it and it curls up. I said, well,
Like a dog? Who the hell are you?
I said, this is straight hair. She said, yeah. She said, but I do it all the time. I
No,
said,
you don't.
I said, you do this all the time? She said, yes. She said, and I got the sewing because I have to wash my hair every day. I said, you don't have to wash your hair every day? She said, yes, I do. She said, whenever I take a shower, I wash my hair. I said, you wash your hair every single day with that hair texture? She was like, yeah. I said, and it curls up like that? She was like, mm-hmm. I said, well, you have a relaxer, so your hair is not going to curl like that unless you got a perm. A perm keeps your hair curly. And she was like, I've been doing this for years, honey. You can't tell me what to do with my hair. I said, oh, okay.
Okay.
She said, yeah, I've been doing this for years. She said, maybe because you a young girl, you don't know about it. So I was like, oh, okay. Now she pulled a young girl card. She said, yeah, baby, we've been making it work for years. I said, so what you want me to do? I said, I already straightened your hair. She said, well, take me to the shampoo bowl and wet my hair. She said, yeah, wet my hair. I said, if I wet your hair, it's not going to curl. It's going to stay straight. And it's just going to look like wet. It's not going to look how you want it to look.
More like a dog getting out of the shower.
So she said, well, let me do it. So I said, let you do what? She said, let me wet my hair. So I gave her a spray bottle with some water, and we tested a piece of hair out, and it was completely straight. And she was like, wait. She said, watch this. It's going to curl up. So we waiting, and it didn't curl up.
Of course it did.
I said, this is straight hair texture. You brought straight hair texture. You did not get, the bohemian curl or anything like that. You didn't even get body wave. You have straight hair. And then I had to already make it work with the hair that you have. And, had to make magic with that. I had to use slick sticks and spray stuff just to make the 8-inch and the 12-inch and 10-inch hair to blend with 18 and 24. So she was like, well,
she came to you with all this different hair.
She said, well, I'm gonna go to the shampoo bowl. I said, okay, great. So while she goes to the shampoo bowl, she turns the water on and wets her whole head. And now she's soaking wet, and her hair not curled. And so I call my boss and I'm like, hey, I have a client here, and she wants a certain type of look. She wants her natural hair. She asked for a leave out. Now she doesn't want it anymore. She said she wanted it bone straight. Now she wants it super tight and curly like a Jerry curl, but she has straight hair texture. She said, well, she can't get it like that. She said the only way she can do that is if you take all her hair out, you do it all over again, and y'all don't have the proper hair for the style, and she doesn't want to sit under the dryer to attempt to get the style. Right. So there's nothing that you can do. She said she can try and come back tomorrow, and maybe I can see what I can do to help her, but you did all that you can do. So she was like, let me speak to her because it sounds like she doesn't want to pay. Yeah. And she did not want to pay. She did not even pay me the full price for the service.
Oh, this.
So the service, everything all together was $100. She only gave me like $70 to $80. And then she left and she requested her money back and said that if I don't pay her the money back, she's going to file a civil lawsuit and take me to court and sue me. And then she threatened to get my website down.
She don't even know what a civil lawsuit is. Get your dumb ass down.
So then she had my phone number. So she was texting my phone, and she kept requesting money from me on Cash App. And in the Cash App, it says, hey, give me my money back or I'm going to call the police on you. Give me my money back. I'm filing a lawsuit against you. Then she would text me. She said, you were very unprofessional and you don't know how to do hair and you don't know what you're doing. And maybe this is not for you. I was like, oh, wow.
She was doing a whole lot there, wasn't she? Yeah.
Well, because she thought that she had a certain type of hair texture that she didn't have. And then she ruined her hair texture because she got a relaxer, which makes your hair straight for 8 to 6 weeks.
Wow. You too grown, miss, to not be knowing your own hair texture.
And she definitely was in her 50s.
Oh, yeah. You was out for something. You was definitely out trying to get away with something.
So,
little rat bastard.
So my boss was like, she was like, just take what she give you so you can at least get paid for something. She was like, but from what was going on, she did all of that just so she didn't have to pay. But
yeah.
And then she told me, she was like, yeah, you didn't tell me that it was $100. You just was telling me about a deposit. She was like, yeah, you didn't even tell me about the deposit. You just was telling me about the service. I said, no, I told you the deposit price and I told you the service price.
Right.
And everything added up to $100.
That's wow.
And she said, well, I'm not paying that. And requested to get the money she gave me back. So really, you owe me money.
Yeah.
I should be upset.
Miss, if you listening to this, I hope you get fired. I don't know what you do for a living. 50-something years old, too grown to be acting like that. I hope they deny your Social Security in a couple of years when you try to retire too.
And she never came back the next day to get her hair fixed.
I guess not. I want to know where you get that hair from. All the lengths that you had. Did you collect that from other people? Was like you was over somebody's house one day and they was getting their hair done and they had a little leftover. You're like, let me get that. Like, remember if we all smoke weed, you used to get a roach. You'd be like, oh, she got like little roaches. Is that what you did? Like, how do you gather different textures and lengths of hair? You had to be collecting that from different times you or other people got your hair done. It's trifling, ma'am. It's trifling. If you listen to this, you stink. Okay? I hope your pinky toenail fall off. That's just trifling. Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah.
That's
She also had 2 tracks that was blonde, and she wanted it in the front to look like she had highlights.
No, you didn't.
So I think she was attempting the Beyonce Drunken Love hairstyle.
Wow.
And it didn't look, it looked drunk, but not in love.
Let me get curl around the side, straight on top, blonde on my bangs in the front. Like, what? Like, I want a sold in flat head, copper top. What? Well, this is,
If I could find a picture, I will show you.
oh my God.
It looked crazy.
You send me a picture, I'm definitely putting that up as the thumbnail when I post this. This is crazy.
But
This
yeah,
is crazy.
she was like, yeah, just sew the hair in. I don't even care if you style it. I said, you can't leave my place looking like that.
Oh, hell no.
So you can tell people I did your hair like that.
That's wow. That is very wild.
So I don't even think she went to the interview because she didn't come to get
She
her
couldn't
fixed.
have went to an interview like that.
She might have wet her hair again.
Or she might have just put on a goddamn hood or a hat. Because ain't no way in hell. First of all, you walked around in public like that? Like, that's wow.
Yep. Not to mention she took a break, a 25-minute break.
For too much of your time.
A 25-minute break. She said she was smoking a cigarette. It didn't smell like a cigarette at all.
She's probably on dope.
She was sniffing a lot.
Yeah. I knew it. She went to, yeah. She was
Yeah.
getting that nose candy.
And I'm like, why is she sniffing so much?
Yeah. That answers everything now. Now we know everything about everything.
I knew something was up when she put the whole thing of water on her head after she just got it done.
Yeah, she was getting it. You know what? This is why, before we even end this interview, guys, let them know where they can reach you at, contact you if they need their hair done or their makeup done.
You can reach me at Glamorously Worth It on Instagram. Also, if you're not really into social media, you could text me 484-357-9062, located in West Philadelphia.
Yeah. Y'all heard it, okay?
Looking
If I find out anybody listening to this interview, contact my cousin with some bullshit like that, I'm gonna come pee on your doorstep, okay? Don't do it. Don't disrespect my little cousin like that, okay? That lady is wilding, okay? Whatever y'all do, don't forget to check out next episode. Every Monday we dropping, okay? Always new episode. Hit us up. Do me a favor. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Check, please.